Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is International Forum on ITV. I am Wilson Marshall. I'd like to start my introduction for this particular discussion. It has to do with the U.S. election, the factors to consider to see who come at tops between Republicans and, of course, Democrats. On one hand, we have Donald J. Trump, and, of course, on the other hand, we have Kamala Harris, the vice president, vying for that particular position after Joe Biden handed over the torch to her. I'd like to sincerely and, of course, welcome a legal practitioner, legal affairs commentator, no other person than Barrister Osanho Osazua, all the way from U.S., Massachusetts. Barrister, welcome to International Forum.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right. Still very close to me here in the studio in Benin City, Edo State, Nigeria, lecturer from UNIBE, another person than Honorable Frank Amego. It's good to have you, Jimmy, like 2 months now, right?
Yeah, quite.
I was on vacation and now back, and you're like, where again?
Good to see you again. And thanks for having me.
Welcome, welcome. All right, it's all about what is happening right now in the U.S. I'd like to start off with Osaosawa because he's the one on the ground in the U.S. He was just, and I believe he has one or two valid information that he will bring to the fore in course of this discussion as the battle between the Democrats and Republicans intensify in the U.S. Well, Barrister Osahola, what do you feel about what is happening in the U.S., knowing fully well that the election is barely 2 months away?
Yes, Wincy, it is a great time to be alive. It's an historic moment and decision time for the United States because this election is going to define the trajectory and the future of this great nation where they have chosen to be as a people, whether love will prevail or whether anger, hate, and retribution will prevail, and whether inclusiveness will prevail, or if we are to revert back to those decades and centuries of when a certain kind of people think and feel that they are superior to the rest of us. So it is an epoch-making year, an election for the US. And like Kamala said, there's no going back. And Trump is telling us that there will virtually be blood on the floor if he is re-elected. So it is easy decision, easy choice, backward or forward, love or hate. So it is as clear as daylight. And we pray that at the end of the day, the forces of light will prevail. Thank you.
So the way you're sounding right now, you've taken a side already, either forward or backward, light or day, good or evil. Well, Honorable, you heard him. He's on the ground, he's monitoring the trend, and he has seen and heard so many things from the contestants and Americans. They are ready to go out there to vote. Take it up from where it stopped.
Yes, from my perspective, I think Lady Harris will very likely win.
Now, you are not the electoral umpire, okay? But all the same, give us the reason why you feel that she will come at top.
It's not a feeling. It's just a simple analysis. Judging from her background, you know, she's from 2 different countries. Mother is from India. The father is from Jamaica. And the life she has lived as a lawyer and as a former police officer, then all through a career in politics, I think she stands a better chance. So far, so good. She has performed much better than her counterpart, Donald Trump. And it goes to show in the long run that Americans are more disposed to voting for Harris than Trump because she has come as a mother and maybe again being the first to get to this point of contesting. And for Joe Biden to have allowed her to replace him, that goes to show that she has the antecedents of good governance. And I've come to realize that most of the good things ever done by Joe Biden, you, in a way, acknowledge her as being a major contributor towards a better United States of America. I know all the cries here and there. One was thinking that Donald Trump, after the attempted assassination, that will be a boost to his image, but it did not. The contrary is the case. So far, so good. Come November, let all the electorates come out and vote en masse. I'm sure the majority, the large majority, would vote for Lady Harris. And again, people are just thinking that she's younger, much younger than her counterpart, Donald Trump. In October, next 2 months from now, she'll be 60. Right now, she's 59 plus. So we want somebody much younger. As we were saying then, that Joe Biden was too old. Now we have brought a much younger person, and she has all it takes to pilot the affairs, bring America to the Eldorado that is much bargained for. Harris is someone that has learned things from life. As we say, life happened to her. At the age of about 7, the mother and the father separated. And she's been growing up with her younger sister, and the mother took care of them all through. So she has seen the other side of life, which Donald Trump hasn't seen. And it goes to make a point that oftentimes those that come from homes of silver spoon, when you bring them into leadership, they hardly can do well because they have not seen the other negative side of life. Harris has done that, and over the years, she has wanted to prove to the whole world, and in particular to the people of America, that she stands a better chance.
Right.
As a Democrat, for Joe Biden to have said she would be a better replacement, they would have tested her.
You're speaking as if you are like the forerunner of Kamala Harris. Well, I will come back to you, Honorable. Let's get straight down to Massachusetts, where Barrister Osahon Osazuwa is standing by. Now, you use some terms to qualify what Americans are perceiving as what they will eventually experience if Donald Trump or Kamala Harris becomes the next president. Why this talk of violence? Because it's like, paint the Democrats in the sense that blood and the rest of them. But there's this also this issue about some allegations leveled against Kamala Harris that she's like avoiding a press conference. Take it up from this point of view.
It's a strategy on our side to talk to the American people at the appropriate time when it matters most and when it will yield the highest dividend. It's just a strategy. We are talking about a prosecutor per excellence who for decades have been able to marshal out an argument before the court of law. She cannot be afraid of press conferences. There is no way. She knows the onions, and she has delivered severally when it comes to the ability to persuade and to lead. So she's somebody who has been proven. She has been a vice president for crying out loud in the past 4 years. She has been a senator for about 8 years. So we know what she can do. And there is no way they say that she's avoiding press conferences. At the right time, she will speak. And one thing, Winston, did you listen to that glorious acceptance speech of ours during the DNC? That should tell you something, that that woman knows what she wants and how to articulate her thoughts and present her position before the American people in a very clear, lucid, and human way. Human in the sense that she's able to connect emotionally with the rest of us because she has been down there, because she knows what it is to have been deprived. She knows what it is to have got to the top. She has seen it all, and she's able to tell her story, and her story is flourishing and touching and strong. It tells you so much about the American dream that this girl, this Jamaican come Indian little girl that worked at McDonald's as a sales girl is able to rise to the very echelon, to the very top of US politics. It is only in the US that that's possible. You don't need to have anybody. You don't need a wealthy family. Or if all you have is in your head and you can articulate your thought and present your case, you can get to the highest points of life. And that is the Kamala story. And that story has made the rest of us and has galvanized as it were the democratic base. You see, before Biden did the honorable thing, the selfless thing by stepping aside and then handing over the torch of leadership to Kamala Harris, Trump thought he was coasting home. Trump thought he had the presidency very much within his grasp. And to a large extent, he was right. But things have changed. And now the man has gone into some sort of meltdown. Every day he's busting out and he doesn't know what hit him. He didn't see this coming. And it's like a big truck that has hit the man. And right now he's disoriented, so to speak, and is trying to clutch at anything, even if, like they said, that the drowning man will clutch at anything. So, but beyond all this, beyond all that, we must understand what is at stake today. That if America is to progress and humanity and Western democracy is to survive, there is need for us, for every one of us, to push the frontier, to expand the frontier, to be as inclusive or inclusive as possible. And that's what the Democratic Party represents. It's a party of the future. It's a party that gives hope. It's not an exclusive club of the, or what they call, or how would I put it? What they call some commentator call it WASP. That's white Anglo-Saxon Protestants. No, America should be something for everybody. America is an idea that transcends race, an idea that transcends color, an idea that transcends religion. So you must have a heart and love for mankind. And if that heart and love for mankind is inside of you, there is no way the American dream is not possible. That's what Kamala Harris signifies. That's why the Democratic base has not been so, how do I say it now? So the spirit is so high now. The hopes are so high, and people are going out engaged, seeing that it is not possible for us to move forward. Yes, age was a big barrier to Joe Biden, and we thank him for the great work he has done for the American people. We really appreciate his selflessness,
All
putting
right.
country before self, unlike a certain Donald J. Trump, who will never in
Okay.
1,000 years think of doing that. Biden put country first and he passed the thought to Kamala, and today as I speak to you, the momentum is on the Democratic side, and all the polls are going towards a certain trajectory, upward for the Democrats and scaling down for the Republicans. That's the
I
story, my
will
brother.
come back to you. It's like I have two Democrats here with me, one US, one in the studio, but Trump is like the victim here right now.
He has always been.
It has always been because right now it's like everyone just pointing out Trump being the devil, Trump being the demon, but this was the man that was almost assassinated. Don't you think that will count for something in this election?
That they almost assassinated him does not make him become president. Otherwise, a lot of persons would have state-managed assassination.
But that wasn't state managed.
You know, it wasn't, but you were saying as if it becomes a leverage for him to become president. But the first thing I want to commend Mr. Osazowa for, this is about the first time we are agreeing. Why in Nigeria we never agreed one day. So now it's abroad, we are agreeing. So it's clear enough. Winston uses glasses. You should have seen things better than I do with your glasses. It's clear enough.
I am the anchor. Don't answer the question, so you have to tell me what you've seen.
Harris will be a better president for Nigeria.
From your own angle.
From every angle.
For Nigeria, for the U.S.
A large majority of Americans want to toe the line of Harris. Because if you want things to improve, you want things to go in the right direction, and you have what it takes to determine it, why not? It's a voting now that will determine who becomes president. It's not about talking. As you asked Osazuwa just now, if she was running away from press. She's not. She's not.
Because that's the allegation right now leveled against her, even by the press crew in America.
It's just an allegation.
Journalists are complaining that, look, you've not addressed us, like, avoiding us. What's up? What's going on?
You don't expect her to behave like Trump. Just like the name signifies. Trump is a sound from the trumpet. You just be talking. And then they add up everything. They don't make anything. So what I see that she's doing, she's gone through thin and thick of life. So she knows when and what to say at any given time. So it's not by journalists harassing her. She can even sue the journalists for harassment. When it's time, I'll speak. I don't want to say a thing that tomorrow I'll come back and apologize to the whole world. So she knows what to say and at the right time. And she has all it takes better to become president, far better off than what Trump is purporting himself to be. He can't. He talks and that ends it. In fact, outside US, Europe for instance, people of Europe, they believe more in Harris than Trump. Because once Donald Trump, if he wins, of course he can't win. Let's imagine a dream, he wins. If he wins, well, it will take the people of Europe through. Even Nigeria. I have not up to now forgiven him of what is said about our former president. I can't say that here now, you know it. That's not a man that you want to canvass for to win an election. And he has the traits, he has a history that he will likely deport some foreigners whose documentation have not been perfected. And by that, you're going to separate parents from their children. So what sort of a president would that be? So if, as it is, I see the Democrats like PDP of Nigeria.
I want us to bring in PDP right now, or APC.
I'm going somewhere.
You think you're going somewhere? I don't want an analogy for good reasons.
You understand and see what I'm talking about. When we had a democratic rule, if you don't want to use PDP, when the Democrats were in charge of this country, we saw a good Nigeria. And the other people came around and hijacked the whole process. So the same thing, if you want a better Nigeria, a better Africa, the way to go is in a democratic direction, as America is right now. So you don't just want to apply any object on any situation without thinking of the repercussion. The Democrats think far ahead of the Republicans. You want to do a thing. I want to create a drug to kill malaria parasites. That's the intention. But a Democrat will think, after killing the malaria parasites, what happens to the patients? Will the patients die? If they will die, let the parasite remain with them. If they will not die, then let's kill the parasites. But a Republican point of view is, it doesn't matter who dies. Let's kill the parasites. So the Democrats are more humane. They are more reasonable, from my understanding, than the Republicans.
All right. Now let's get straight down to U.S. where Osahon is standing by. Now there's this issue about what is happening in Israel, between Israel and, of course, Palestine. Some are saying that Trump, whether I want to believe it or not, is total support of what Israel is doing, thereby garnering sympathy from the Jewish extract from or in the U.S., right, from Jewish extraction in the U.S., and that might just boost his chances of winning his election, as against Kamala Harris that is saying peace should reign, Israel stop the bombardment, let's go for ceasefire. Do you think this will be one of the factors that will determine who will win that coveted seat?
Yes, thank you very much, Quincy. I will answer you, but before I do that, let me quickly say this. There is nothing glorious. There is nothing true. There is nothing human in weaponizing religion, race, ethnicity as a tool of politicking. It shows that as far as Donald Trump is concerned, that the end justifies the means. And this shouldn't be. So let's talk about religion, for example, before we answer, because it's also very closely knitted to the Palestinian question. Religion should be as private as possible. That's for me. I have always believed and reasoned that one's faith is a kind of roadmap, a kind of shaft between that individual and his creator, between that particular individual and God. And when you begin to institutionalize this religion, begin to politicize it, then there is problem because your belief might necessarily differ from my own. So when you begin to take side and say, look, this is me. I am white and I'm Christian. And America should be white and Christian. Not just being Christian, being Protestant. And you begin to want to superimpose this your view of the world on others, then there is an issue. Same with race, same with ethnicity, same with geography. So now talking about the Israeli question, here we have Donald Trump on one side, and then a Benjamin Netanyahu on the other side, who thinks that whatever they do to perpetuate themselves in power is okay. Talking about Netanyahu, Netanyahu has become the longest lasting Israeli prime minister in history, not because he has done incredibly well for the Israelis, but because he has used warmongering. He's a warmonger. He has used war as an instrument to perpetuate himself in office. And I tell you this, Netanyahu knew that October 7th attack by Hamas was coming, and he did nothing because he has calculated in his mind, let these people fall into this trap, and then in the next 3 or 4 years, we will be at this war. I will obliterate them, and I will perpetuate myself in office because I will be fighting this war. Every other thing can wait. Now, talking about the Jews in the US, the Israelis, the Jews here, they have always voted massively for the Democratic Party, and that is never ever going to change. You must understand that there's a big difference between Israel as a nation and international Jewry or international Jew. Talking about the US Jew now in particular, there's a big difference. What we have today in Israel is a nationalist or a nativist government of Netanyahu who emphasize Judaism and their vision, their mosaic vision of privileges and destiny, that this is our land. It's a terrible, and if you ask me, a diabolical interpretation of history.
All right, now, Barrister, hold on. You continue with your line of thought immediately after this break. We'll come back to you shortly. Do stay tuned, viewers. Thanks a lot for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is International Forum, and we're taking a look at the chances of either the Democrats or Republicans that will really make them lovable by Americans for them to come atop in the fast approaching U.S. presidential elections. Honorable Frank Amego, that same question is still very much on the ground. The stand of Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, not forget to mention that the Jewish circle, so to speak, they have a large stake in this election.
So the Jews there will not be cajoled. Because that kind of politics is with bias and is premeditated and is not for the general good of the people of America. Because the American Jews will not just sit down and allow one person in a person of Donald Trump to just take them here and there because he wants to win. If he wants to whip sentiments, he's not going to do it. You tell us what you can do. He's not just going to support Israel to fight Hamas. So by that, we'll now come back home and start to vote for
But
you.
the Jews are sentimental about this already.
No, just as Pastor Sasuwa said,
Yes.
if you check the historical disposition of the American Jews, they are towards the Democrats. They are more polarized in the direction of the Democrats. So
because the Democrats have always been on their side, but in this particular situation, there seems to be a division. Harry is saying no, stop the bombardment. Trump is saying whatever you guys are doing, go ahead, do not stop. If it's to be a Jewish man, who are you going to support? The one supporting your home or the one against what your home is doing?
None of us is a Jew here.
Doesn't matter the question. If it's to be their position, what will you do?
Between Wisi and I,
Yes.
what would you think will play out? Stop fighting, number one. Number two, continue fighting. What would the person that pursues peace should say? Stop fighting. So Donald Trump does not mean well for the people of Israel.
He said, keep fighting until you get the hostages from them. That's his stand.
That's not peaceful.
That's what he said.
So that shows to
because
us.
there's some persons in chains right now, according to reports. And he's saying, keep mounting pressure until you get them. After, if anyone should touch an American and he or she is held hostage, he will stop bombing until those hostages are released. In tandem with what Benjamin Netanyahu is doing. And many Jews are in support of that. I don't think that we form this kind of sentiment towards Donald Trump.
You just expose Donald Trump further. That is a bad leader. Fighting will not bring about peace. Let's sheathe our swords. Let's negotiate. If you recall World War II, they said, let's go to the negotiating table. They said no. But after all being done, they still came back to the negotiating table. So, because you want to win an election, but you just kill themselves for you to gain some kind of sentiment and you win an election, and you think those ones are not as wise as you are. If, as Harris says, that shows she has empathy for the Americans and for the Jews, even for the Hamas. Let's cease fire. Let peace reign. Live and let live. Another person is coming with a discordant tune that war should continue. That shows clearly to a lot of persons that have discerning minds that Harris will be a better president than Donald Trump.
All right. Now, let's get to hear from Osao so we'll be able to reestablish contact with him. Now, what do you feel about this particular situation? Because you were talking about religion and its implication. You said religion will be private, right? But right now, it's like he's invading American politics, knowing fully well that Israel is on the march against Palestinians because they are hoping for the Palestinians to release all the hostages, and Donald Trump is in support of the tactics of Benjamin Netanyahu. Won't this split the vote in the Jewish community?
No, not at all. The Jewish community, they have long seen through Netanyahu. They know who he is. He's a warmonger. He's a narcissist like his counterpart over here, and they know that. Let me tell you something that might shock you. Do you know there are reports that have it that Donald Trump has been on the phone with Netanyahu trying to tell him not to reach a ceasefire agreement with Hamas, because it might kind of hamper his chances of winning the election. So that's the kind of person we are dealing with here. And again, talking about this, just to quickly divert again, talking about the southern border, do you also know that there was a robust deal, the most comprehensive border treaty deal in almost 4 decades, that was vetoed by MAGA rep members in the House of Representatives? Because Trump called them and told them point blank that if you sign this deal, if this deal is passed, it will hamper his chances of winning the election. that let the border remain unsafe and unsecure, that when it comes to the people, that the glory should go to him. That is the kind of self-serving person the United States
But these
is dealing with.
allegations might just be speculations.
No speculations. You even heard that during the DNC speech. Harris attested to that, and that it's an open secret. We all know that. Somebody, that's how somebody puts himself first before any other thing. Anything the world has to revolve around him. Without him, nothing gets done. Imagine you have been screaming for all these years that people are just pouring through the southern border. People are just coming in, rapists are coming, drug traffickers, all sorts of people, terrorists are coming through the southern border, and something has to be done, and Biden has not done anything. And then there was a bipartisan bill by both Democrats and Republicans, and this things took them long to hammer out a comprehensive bill. And all that was left is to send that bill to Biden and he will sign it. But at the end of it, at the very last minute, Trump put a call to members there led by Matt Gaetz and Taylor we agree. And you guys should not have that people to see. But if imagine if that bill was passed and the issue has increased, what will he be campaigning with? Nothing. And he realizes that he put himself first and he said, kill the bill. Now let's go back to Netanyahu. The same thing also happened to Netanyahu. There are reports, you can go online and search for it, that he has called Netanyahu not once, severally, to tell him, look, don't deal with Hamas. Let the war continue. Because it seems that the more the war continues, the better chances of winning the election. That Harris and Biden also pin the blame on them. That look, to me, that's why I had the temerity, the audacity to attack. That's why I was not there. That's why Russia invaded Ukraine, because I was not there. It's happened. Even is, oh my God. So that's the kind of person we are dealing with here. So, and I understand, and I will also make you understand that look, the future of democracy itself is at stake. So much will be defined by this election. Are we going to have a president that will allow Putin to do whatever thing he wants to do? Because he has told all. That's why I love Trump, because he's so honest and he says it. He has told all who cares to listen that when he becomes president, NATO is dead. That if unless NATO should defend itself, that they have so much money and they are not bringing this money to everything is all about money, about dollars to him. So we must have empathy and love at the heart of politics. We must have empathy, love, reason, and humanity at the heart of politics. Everything is not about power. The love, the power of love must supersede and exceed the love for power. And Donald Trump doesn't understand this simple logic. He doesn't understand. He thinks power is everything. Give me power. Okay. Give me power. I want power. That's why I'm not saying election. First election, second election, third election. And I tell you this: if Trump loses his election in 4 years' time, he's going to contest.
Okay.
Go and put that down.
I will come back to you if time permits. I will come back to you. Now, he has given us his own perception about Donald Trump because of the allegations leveled against Trump. Fine. But this other factor, one, Kamala Harris, she's from black descent. And of course, a woman. But she'll be the first in history, if she scales through, to be the first female American president. And many presidents are not too down with this. You think this will deter many Americans, both Democrats and Republicans, from voting for her?
Yeah, the race is not the matter now. It's what you want to deliver or capable of delivering. So if Donald Trump is leveraging on that, he has failed at the very point. Because America is not, we cannot say it's a no man's land. It is a place that is well civilized, that has accommodated a lot of persons. If Kamala Harris has a descent from India and from Jamaica, so she will want to show love towards foreigners, which openly Donald Trump has said that if he becomes president, I agree with Barrister Osaon that when he loses, he's going to lose. When he loses in this election in November, in the next 4 years, he's still going to come back. If he loses again, he's still going to come back until something happens.
To show his kind of spirit.
Yeah, but that is a bad spirit.
How?
Well,
you try, you don't succeed, you try again.
You want to execute a thing that is against humanity, that is against empathy, that is against things that the next person will hear, will say, who did this? What a terrible thing that someone did. So humanity will not allow such a person to come into power. All he knows is power. Any other thing, negotiation, anything whatsoever, he's not interested. All he wants to grab, and he cannot, is power.
All right, our time is up. Sorry, I have to go right now because I have so much things to do in the studio. But the story doesn't end here. All right, let's just get to find out if definitely Camilla will scale through or Donald J. Trump will scale through. Barrister Osaon as well, thank you so much for being a part of this show. There's no time for a last line in this discussion. Maybe subsequently we're going to delve in more in this particular discourse to get to see the chances of Kamala Harris or better still, Donald J. Trump. Thank you so much. I appreciate the participation. And of course, too, Honorable here, really appreciate the participation. And let's just see if your predictions will come true. You said Harris all the way. Some are saying it's going to be Donald J. Trump all the way because of the factors on the table. It's like everyone putting their best cards on the table. Who will come out top? November is the time to look out for. Bye for now.